Hey Roger, got your session. Seems like a B-side jam session with Man the Reformer. So I saw you did a kick drum, 2 snares, top and bottom, bust them together. Bust all your drums then to this compressor, which is great routing. You've got bus 21 over here going to this D-verb, which is proper routing. Lots of high-pass filters. Like to see that. Good use. Then let's see what else was there going on. Okay, so all right. So this was you bust this the stereo acoustic to this channel being 23 being to the left, 24 to the right. That's being right. The electric. This is someone and this is someone else. Those are now stereo through here. I kind of get that. The bass, I'm not sure I get that because you have a DI and a bass amp. So your bass is kind of weighted heavy to one side. You can hear that, and you can see the visual here, as opposed to bass being just straight up the middle. But you have just the amp on one side and the DI to the other. Better would just be to do this and leave it straight up the middle. Or you could just both choose 25, but you've got a stereo track here, so I'm going to do what you did and just leave it pan in the middle. So now your basses, these two are stacked on top of each other, more like this, working together, as opposed to one being on this side and one being on this side. Does that make sense? So that was something that was sort of a little confusing to me. So you've got the compressor on the whole drum kit, but not really anything other than like you kind of let the most of the kit alone. So in consequence, you've got some different, you've got a little bit going on, but it's to me it's still really, it doesn't sound like an album track. It sounds like a rough mix. Maybe if you had a Leonard Skinner or something, but you can just see it sounds kind of just, it sounds just a little still raw to me. I think it sounds okay, but it sounds just a little bit raw. And I think for a jam session it would be hard to put finishing touches on it. There's not a whole lot that's going on. So to me the kick drum's a little big and get a lot of bleed. So I think you can see that tracking's not great. We're accentuating some of that boom. So we might put in this gate here behind it. Let's do a little bit of gating. And there's a gate. Let's start with that. So we need to bring this threshold down. That's a little heavy for me. And if you want a little bit of that tone, you can sneak. There's a little bit of that. Okay, and then maybe a little bit. That doesn't sound great, right? A little tighter, there we go. And we can hear this compressor is working a lot. Whoa, a lot. Look at that. So that might be a little much. So we're doing 10 to 1, so we're limiting, and you're hitting at about 14 dB. So I'm going to back this way up. You can see now I can go turn my kick drum. To me, there's just too much. So this one we can hit a little bit harder, I think. And this would be another, then a lot of that chatters from that bottom one. Yep. And again, not a big fan of the gate, but this might be an instance where that comes in handy, just to tighten the sound up a little bit. Maybe you just do it on this channel. Cleans it up a little bit. And then I'm going to put a peak limiter after this snare. There's so much dynamics on that snare. So now I'm going to hit it fast, get it high, but I'm just going to tap it. There we go. And this is a VU meter, so this is only average. So I'm only seeing it actually is doing a lot more compression than that. But you can watch my meter here. It's never going to go. I've got the snare locked in. Sweet. I'm liking that. And that has a lot of boom in it, so I'm going to cut out some of that boom. That. Not a big fan of that boxiness. And maybe I'll filter this. Now I can actually turn that up. So I think this is a little small, so this is where a reverb would come into play, and we have something on the guitar, so let's see what happens if I just send that. Instead of creating a new reverb, let's just see what happens. So let's listen to my kick and my snare. This should be set, guitar solo safe. Let's see what that sounds like in context. Alright. Now I got this bass. Let's go look at our bass. So I know my kick drum is hitting down there around 60 hertz. So I'm going to go just 60 hertz, make that a parametric, tight. Why don't I hear my kick drum? There it is. Make room for that, little EQ to fit. I gotta get rid of the other one. There we go. Now this one we want to hit hard. So we got a really light ratio, so we got to pull that threshold way down to get some action going on. Oh, and you have this other one going. I don't know what this is about, so I'm just turning that one off. We don't need to. Ooh, that's a bad note. Whoa, there's some bad notes in there. All right, but you see where we're going with that. I hope that helps.